Welcome to the School of Calisthenics. This is a follow-along push-up workout that requires no equipment, just lots of different interesting push variations for you to play with.
So Tim's going to take us, so you and me, through the reps and sets. We're going to do them together. We're linking a couple of exercises together in little supersets or little flows, and we're going to get a bit of a sweat on doing this. So we're going to get strong, but we're going to have a little bit of fun doing it. So let's get started now.
So we're going to take you through each of the 4 exercises that we're going to use in this little follow-along workout. All of them push-up based. You might want a little bit of space to move around in, but you don't need loads. And we'll take you through the first one now, which is going to be a balance exercise called the frog stand. So Jacko's going to put his hands on the ground. He's going to grip the floor with his fingertips, and he wants to leave a little bit of space just underneath the pads of his fingers. That's so he can create a little bit of traction and stability on the floor. He then bends his elbows a little bit, and then he's going to bring his knees up and put them on the top of his triceps, on the back of his arms here, and just then rock forwards like a seesaw until he finds that balance position. We can see he's got one foot off. He brings a second one to join it, so he can progressively lean into this, making sure the hip stays high over the elbow and the wrist, and that's going to help him to hold that balance. Keep pushing the hands hard into the ground to create the stability, and that's going to be the foundation where we can then move into our second exercise. That's going to be our mountain climber push-up. So he's going to do a little squat jump backwards. He sets himself up into his push-up position, and then he's going to drop down, and we're going to bring this knee to the elbow again, just like in the frog stand, but this time we're going to put a bit more strength in the exercise as opposed to it just being balance-based. So he's going to rep these out, and he's just going to move through up and down. You can see him get into nice, good hip positions, nice and low to the floor, keeping the midsection strong. We don't want to see him collapsing and losing the shape. Always keep thinking about making a strong shape at all times. So our third exercise is going to be the archer push-up. Jacko's going to get into his push-up start position, but he's going to move his hands a little bit wider, and the one hand is going to point out to the side slightly. That's because he's going to move over to this other side. He's going to lean onto that elbow a little bit as he drops in, keeping it close to the body. He comes back up, does the same thing on the opposite side. You can see that other arm straightening out, and that is one complete rep of his archer push-up. The last exercise that we're going to have a look at is a round the world push-up. This is great for thinking about core stability, but it also changes the shoulders into some different positions. He's going to bridge himself over into this side plank position on a straight arm, and he's going to rotate his hips around and bring his other hand to the floor to meet it. He can make this crab position and then rotate himself back over again into a start shape. He then reverses the movement, stepping his foot over the top, bringing the hand around, placing it on the floor. In this position here, if he wants to, he can keep the body straight and drive the hips high. That's going to require a little bit more shoulder mobility and some more stability through the hips as well. But there's 2 progressions there of keeping the hips bent or keeping them straight. Imagine you're like a log rolling in the water. That is going to be our round the world push-up. So now we can bring those all together and put them into a little workout for you, breaking them up into 2 small supersets. It's time to get into the workout part of this follow along, and we're going to pair 2 exercises together in a superset, the frog stand followed by the mountain climber. We're going to do a frog stand, drop back into the mountain climber, do 1 rep to each knee, back to the frog stand. That's going to complete 1 rep of the complete movement, and then we're going to do that 5 times. So you can follow along and get ready to get into your frog stand position. So Jacko puts his hands down on the ground. He's going to set himself up, hips up nice and high, keeping that nice base of support for a 5-second hold. So we just give another 3, 2, 1 in that position, and he's going to jump back into his push-up position, make a nice stable shape as he drops into his mountain climber. 1 rep each side, and now he's going to frog hop back in, get the knees back on the elbows, lift himself back up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, holding that balanced position, and he's going to drop back into his push-up position. If you find that frog position hard when you get into it, you can always just balance 1 leg on the ground at the same time. So if you need to progress this, if it feels a bit scary, you can just build up by keeping 1 toe on the ground, that 5-second hold, 3, 2, 1, and then he can drop himself back into his mountain climber. Keep these nice and strong as he drops in. He's going to keep a good body position, pushing out low from the ground. Bring yourself back through to your frog stand, and then hold that balanced position. Again, that's rep number 3 complete. Back into the push-up position, so he drops back out. He's going to drop back in 1 to the right, second one on the left, and then hops back in. This is rep number 4 complete after a 5-second hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last rep as he hops himself back into his push-up, drops down to the right elbow, now to the left, brings himself back into the frog stand. Strong finish. Arms are going to have done a bit of work by this point, so make sure you're pushing the ground down hard. Keep gripping with the fingertips. Keep the hips high. Keep breathing. And there we are, completed our first superset. We're gonna have a 1 minute rest period now, so we'll start the clock, and we're just gonna give Jacko time to recover a little bit from the shoulders, and in the meantime, I can tell you about the next superset that we're gonna do. So again, we're gonna pick 2 exercises. This time it's the archer push-up, followed by the round the world push-up. The job with these ones is to keep really controlled movements. They're not easy when you've got a little bit of fatigue in the chain or in your system, so keep strong, make strong positions, and think about just building some real quality together as you go through. So you're gonna need a little bit of space for this one as we just finish off the last 30 seconds of our rest period, so make sure you've got room to slide the hands to the side in the archer push-up. If you find the archers difficult, one thing you can do is not quite go all the way out to the side, so you can stay in a little bit closer, but still get that rock to the side without having to take the arm out completely straight. So we've got 15 seconds of our rest period left to go. Jacko's just mobilizing his wrists out a little bit. If you feel like you're getting a bit tight, that's one thing you can do just to help loosen things off. So we're gonna go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and he's going to start off with his archer push-up. So he comes down onto the one side, back up, and then he's going to rotate around into his round the world push-up, bringing the hands over, creating nice stable shapes as he moves through, and he's going to reverse that. So now does the archer push-up on the other side to come back the same way. When he finishes back in this start position, that's 1 rep, and he can repeat the sequence again. Archer push-up on the left, rotates himself across. This is number 2 as he drops into the second part of the archer push-up, and then rotates himself back into the middle position. You've got that option with these movements to then start to either bend the hips as you go into the round the world push-up, or you can keep your legs straight and you can start to keep a nice like barrel roll position. So keep yourself in a nice strong long position, which is going to put a bit more stress and require a bit more control around the hips and the shoulders. But you can see here we're really working through some very nice ranges of movement in the shoulder, challenging different body positions. We've got some rotation in there. These are really good things for not only building strength, but creating stability across the chain, good range of movement, and getting strong as we move through these different shapes. So Jacko's going to finish these off now as he drops back into the archer. He's going to come back across the other side, see him pushing those hips up nice and high, transferring the force over, staying strong in the tummy. So lock that rib cage down on top of the hips like you're going to take a punch. You don't want the hips to be sagging too much as he comes back into his start position. And then we finish the end of that superset, the archer with the round the world push-up. So it's time for the rest period. We'll start the clock. We've got 1 minute to go before we finish off our final superset. You can see Jacko's getting a bit of a work on here as well, which is good. Starting to get warm, and he's put already some good work in those shoulders and the chest, is starting to build some strength and stability. And the second or the last part of this workout is going to be a little bit different, where we combine all of those movements together. So we're going to go from a frog stand, we're then going to hop back into our mountain climber, we're then going to go straight into an archer push-up, and then a round the world push-up to complete the sequence. So take all those 4 exercises, put them together, just keep control on these. If you need to take a small break in between, you can do, or if any of them get difficult, you can always drop your knees to the ground to give you a little bit more support, take a little bit of load off the shoulders. We're going to go for 3 reps and see if we can do all of those without a break. So this is the last bit, our last finish, and we're going to have start in 10 seconds from now. So Jacko can get into his frog stand position to start with, gets his hips up nice and high in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. So hips up nice and high, pushing the ground down, a 5-second hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. He's then going to drop himself into his push-up position. For the mountain climber, goes onto the right elbow, left elbow, and then comes back. He's going to now slide into his archer, down to the one arm, pushes back up. This is the rotation now into a round the world push-up, just like before, keeping in that nice controlled body position. And now he's going to finish the second part of the archer push-up on the opposite arm, rotates himself back to his start position, keeping strong the whole time. And when that's 1 rep complete, hops back up, back into our frog stand with no rest, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hops down, back into his mountain climber, nice and controlled on that lowering down. Don't fall to the ground, keep yourself in a good position as you move through your push-ups. Drops into the one side of the archer, now rotates into his round the world push-up, all the way over. Opposite side of the archer, done. Rep number 2 nearly done, Jacko. Bring it back in. Looks like he's working hard. I'm sure you guys are feeling the same. And he's back into his frog stand position. Rep number 3, last one to bring it home. Frog stand for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He can now hop back into his mountain climber, drops himself down, right knee, down slow to the left knee, and back up. Good. Archer push-up with the slide on the right side, rotates himself all the way up and over, brings himself into push-up position, completes the archer push-up on the opposite side, and then back to the middle. This is the last little bit of work he's got to do. And he's going to find himself all the way over, nice and controlled, into his start position. 3 reps complete. That's our 3rd superset complete. And I think Jacko's shoulders are probably pretty much done. So you've got some options now at this point in the workout. You can either go again and do another set, or you can wrap it there and you can actually call that the end of your session.
And you can probably tell from my heavy breathing that is quite a tough workout, getting 1 round of that done. For me, that's plenty for today. But if you want to go again, then be our guest.
That's the end of the follow-along push-up workout. No equipment required, and I think it's probably safe to say we got a little bit of a decent session done as well.
Yeah, that was a good bit of tough work. Like Tim said, no equipment needed at all, so dead easy for you to try at home. Hope you enjoyed the workout. If you did, share it, and we look forward to seeing you for another workout soon.